A man and his companions accept a contract to assassinate the corrupt nobles who are assisting in slave auction. During this time, a flashback shows an older man training a rookie while simultaneously taking out members of a crime syndicate. As they tried to escape, the older man and the rookie were intercepted by a drone, which forced them to improvise in order to avoid it. As day broke, the assassin contacted the organization where he announced his intent to retire and become a mentor to future assassins in Japan. Using fake passports, the assassin and the rookie reach a nearby airport and take a flight to Japan. While taking off, he reflects to himself how there's nothing left for him to do now. His life as an assassin is over. Just then, the plane begins to shake violently, and it quickly becomes apparent to him that this is the organization's final goodbye. They knew exactly what plane he would be on, and this is now an inescapable trap. As he attempts to gain some control of the plane, a fighter jet shows up and puts an end to the show and his life. Afterwards, however, he finds himself in the presence of a goddess, who gives him two options: become reborn as a completely different person in the regular, boring world, or be reborn into a magical fantasy world and completely retain all of your current memories. I think you know which one he chooses. And honestly, I don't think there's anyone here who would choose differently. She then explains that the reason she has chosen him is because he is touted at being the best assassin in the world, and she has a special target in mind. She tells him that once he is reborn into the fantasy world, he is to kill the hero there, and he has until 18 years after his birth to do so. She then gives him a mental rundown on the histories, magic, and technologies of this new world, so he understands it. Then explaining that 16 years after he is born, the hero will kill the demon lord and save the world. However, shortly after that, they become power hungry and plunges the world into chaos. So, he must assassinate the hero in the short time period between the hero defeating the demon lord and then destroying the world. She also tells him there is a small chance he can save the world without having to kill the hero, but saving the world is #1 priority. She then lets him pick his 5 skills and the type of magic he wants to use. In S tier, he picks Rapid Recovery. A tier, Spellweaver to make his own custom spells. B tier, Limitless Growth, which increases his stamina exponentially. C tier, Martial Arts. And a mysterious skill in the D tier. Come to your own conclusions on that one. As he approaches his new life, he thinks to himself that this time he is going to live according to his own will, not being pulled by the strings of anyone, and he will find his own happiness. He then awakens in the new world, being, born as a child of the Tuatha Dee family, which is a noble house with the hidden speciality of being assassins, where he is then named Luke Tuatha Dee. Time passes, and by the age of 7, Luke has become a proficient hunter and cook, both due to his new magical abilities and his experience from his previous life. One night after dinner, he goes to the training room with his father, where he gets his physical growth strangely and uncomfortably inspected in way too much detail. After, his father concludes that he is now ready for a special surgery that will give him insanely enhanced eyesight, alongside giving him the ability to perceive magic in a person and the environment. Some days pass after the surgery, and Luke is being fed some cake by his mother as he can't see.
And she then starts acting a bit strange.
I said she then starts acting a bit strange. Just then, his father walks up and takes him to a high vantage point, as his eyes should be healed by now. He takes off the blindfold and yeah, my dude can now see in 4K. He can see pretty much everything in his vicinity and any magical aura a person might have. His father then tells him that they've organized a magical tutor to come and train him finally, as they didn't think he was prepared enough until now. And his mother has just the outfit prepared for him. This bitch is so weird. With no more time to go and change though, they go down and await the arrival of the magical tutor, who is revealed to be a young girl not too much older than Luke himself, Dia Vicone. Later in the day, as she attempts to measure Luke's magical potential, she gives him an object known as a Far Stone, a rare gemstone that measures potential by the amount of mana that can be stored inside it from the user. Luke, however, due to the broken build he made while being reincarnated, has a mana capacity that seems endless, much to the shock of Dia, who has never seen anyone or anything with this kind of capacity before. Having had too much mana poured in, the Far Stone begins to crack, and Dia desperately tells him to throw it away as far as he can. After he does so, we get some cool fireworks from the massive explosion that rocks the estate. His parents immediately run over, and instead of being upset with Dia, they are absolutely chuffed with how strong their son seems. He then asks Dia if he can get any more of those stones, with the idea in mind of turning them into grenades he can use against the hero when the time comes. That's less of a grenade and more like a f***ing pocket nuke. but she explains that they are a treasured item by her people, and she can't just give them out to individuals from other regions. The next day, she begins determining the attributes of where his strongest magical powers lie. She tests fire, and it turns out he has an affinity for it. She then tests out water, and wow, he has an affinity for that too. Dia is happily surprised, as this is the first time seeing someone with the affinity for 2 attributes other than herself. Luke is then like, maybe we should check the others. And she says that she's never heard about anyone with 3 affinities before. But surprise, surprise, Luke has affinity for every single basic element there is in regards to magic. She then guides him on awakening his magical powers, where she promises him a wonderful first time. Let me tell you, the undertones are not subtle here. Over their time together, Dia and Luke start to become emotionally attached to each other, which is kinda creepy, as he is like a 60-plus-year-old man in the body of a child, becoming close with another child. It's like every Discord moderator's dream right here. During their training, Luke provides to be an exceptionally fast learner, not only learning how to synthesize metals, but also how to rearrange those metals into weapons such as knives, a goddamn rifle, and which works really well. And due to the Spellweaver skill that he chose, he and Dia even learn how to game the magic system and make their own fully custom spells. On their last night together, Luke gives her a titanium knife, as a thanks for being his teacher over these past few weeks. And she gives him her own personal Farstone, and makes him promise to come and visit her. His gift was something he can make an unlimited amount of, and hers was something deeply personal. What a Chad. After Dia departs, Luke's father decides that it's about time for him to assassinate someone for the first time. Yes, the first time. He tells him about the morals and ethics of their house before taking him to a prison, which houses a bunch of death row inmates. As they're walking to the target, Luke asks his father why didn't he just make him suppress his emotions and raise him to be a perfect assassinating tool, like how the organization of his previous life did. To which his father responds, saying that's because they're people, not tools. They only undertake a job if it will benefit the kingdom and if they understand why they're killing in the first place. Luke is then taken to his target behind the door, who is a woman guilty of breaking into a house, murdering the occupants inside, then burning the house down after to try and eliminate the evidence. She tries desperately to plead her innocence, but Luke ain't no simp and knows that she is lying and kills her. A few years pass, and while out in the markets with his family, Luke attempts to find someone who can be both his personal servant and assistant during assassinations. However, with his magical eyesight, he isn't really able to find anyone with an ounce of ability. Sometime later, while out on a hunting trip just before the start of winter, he hears some wolves off in the distance, and gets the idea that he will take whatever it is they're hunting. When he finds them, however, we see that their target is actually just a young girl. He jumps down, saving her from one wolf lunging at her, before swiftly managing to deal with the 5 others that were there with relative ease. He asks her what she's doing out here, and she explains that there were too many mouths to feed in her poor family home, and so she was kicked out. Then, a traveling merchant told her that this region was wealthy, so she thought she might have a second chance at life if she could make her way there. After giving her some food, he explains that he is the son of the noble in this region, and offers her a place by his side if she helps him with his duties, which include assassination. She is shocked at this prospect, but by finally feeling needed, she accepts. Cutting back slightly, we see that Luke is mainly doing this as he saw with his special eyes that she has a substantial amount of mana, and is just the person he's looking for. And so, he takes her back to the estate and gets permission from his father to train her as an assassin. A few years pass, and the girl, Tart, has become exceptional at the use of a spear, but is however quite lacking in her ability to use smaller objects like knives. This is a problem as a spear isn't quite the stealthiest tool an assassin can use. Luke however solves this problem by creating a special retractable spear that Tart can hide beneath her clothes. Now with a good weapon finally at her disposal, Luke believes that Tart has become a valuable tool in his mission to assassinate the hero. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It only takes a second and it really helps me out.